All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. I think today's going to be kind of a short meeting. We're in the end of summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. So we still have a couple of folks who are taking advantage of the warm weather and going out on holidays and stuff. We're here today with me, BJ, Shivam, and Jorge. So thanks y'all for joining us today. I wanted to give a quick shout out to some folks who have been helping build our new extension developer documentation site, Extension Workshop. And Shivam has been a huge help with this too. So we're currently in the process of building out pages for Extension Workshop, and there's a lot that So pages are being built, links need to be updated, sections need to be reordered. And I have to say that our community members have really been awesome about finding some of those good first issues and just jumping in and helping us get this page built in a timely manner. The engineering resources for Extension Workshop so far have been myself and our intern, Andrew, whose last day was last Friday. So having other helping hands kind of make that process a little bit easier has been hugely helpful. So I put down the names of everyone who's contributed so far. Thank you so much. Shivam, thank you again for pointing new contributors in there and helping mentor them and get them started and reviewing their patches and then sending them on for final review. I just really appreciate it. So just a quick word about Extension Workshop. I think we're going to be able to launch it sometime in October or November. Hopefully the last couple of pages will be built and that will be smooth. And then we have another QA process. And then we have to talk a little bit to MDN about content transfer and making sure that our site is live when they start redirecting people to the site. So all of that has to get squared away, and then we can gently open this up. So it's been a long journey, but I'm really grateful that other folks have helped out. It's been awesome. Thank you. Okay, so the reason why this might be a short update this week is because we've got some folks out on PTO, and because next week is the official product planning meeting for all of Firefox product management. So we're all kind of working on what we're going to say for that meeting. And by that, I mean like figuring out what exactly our OKRs are for Q4 and making sure they're in alignment and getting them ready. So I picked out a couple of highlights that look pretty solid. So these are going to go to the product team next week for input and, check in with other groups about potential areas of collaboration. But all of these tie back to our three main themes for 2019, which is make the extension ecosystem more secure, keep the ecosystem healthy, so maintain ecosystem health, and help users discover vetted extensions help users find good extensions that are not gonna surprise them with any nasty privacy or security holes. So that having been said, so things that we're looking for in Q4. So Scott, our editorial manager, he's going to be relaunching our featured add-on advisory board to be more focused towards the recommended extensions program. So this is going to be a way for community members to get involved with the recommended extension process. And so we'll have a little bit more details about what that looks like. So our goal is to get that out and then a couple months later, start getting community members onboarded to this and helping out with the recommended extensions program. Manifest v3, so last year around, last October, Google proposed some changes to their extensions API. All of the changes together are referred to commonly as Manifest v3. So right now, their extension API is kind of referred to as Manifest v2. And Manifest v3 includes a couple of changes that will not be backwards compatible for developers and have a couple of developers pretty freaked out right now, and particularly for ad blockers and other content blockers. Some of the changes involve deprecating a really powerful API called the Web Request API, which can see all traffic being passed forth between the browser and or being being passed by the browser. The extension can pick up on that. And so this is really great if you want to block ads. It's a little less great if you're using that to steal people's information. So they are proposing to replace that with something called a net declarative request API, which they think will help the ad blockers be able to do their jobs effectively while kind of mitigating some of the risks that come with the web request API. So a lot of folks have reached out to us and asked, like, are you going to be following Manifest v3? What's the status of web request versus declarative net request? So we've spent some time thinking about it, and it's a little complicated because we think that it's good for the web if we maintain a lot of compatibility with Chrome, so that extension developers can kind of write one code base, make a few changes, publish it to both platforms. It's better for users if they're able to do that and find places or find extensions in other browsers. But obviously, we also think that people have the right to choose how they want to experience the web. And if that means getting rid of some really intrusive and in some cases malicious ads, they should be able to customize their browsing experience so they can do that. So we're going to start probably, so we've been talking a lot internally about that. I think we're kind of now at the point where we have an understanding of a couple of things that we want to look at and start talking about publicly with our developers. So that's in the process of happening right now. So I would say expect to see more conversations about Manifest v3 happening in Q4 with us. And we'll probably also be reaching out to ad blockers and other content blockers to kind of get their thoughts on what to do about that part of the proposal from Google. Any questions about either of those two things? Or Manifest v3?
What is a date for Google going to Manifest v3?
That's a good question. They're still in the draft and design process, so it's hard to say. We've also seen that recently they haven't been waiting very long on other proposals before starting implementation. It looks like, let me ask Philip and see if he has a better sense of when the changes are actually going to start rolling out. Because as far as we can tell, they're still talking about things internally and trying to figure out what they want to do. Yeah, but that's a really good question. It's probably going to come down in the next 18 months, I would say, based on what we did with the Web Extensions API. We moved on that pretty quickly. Okay, one of the other things is strengthening security detection and monitoring skills. So this is going to be improving our tools for finding malicious extensions when they come in, when they get submitted, and how quickly we can take action on them. So we're trying to get that time down between detection and it being removed from AMO. So Andreas is going to be working on that, and we're excited to see what that looks like. So after next week, we may have a few more details about the discrete projects that kind of roll up into that. But he's been out on PTO, and I haven't gotten a chance to pick his brains yet about what exactly this entails. And then the last thing that I can say with some degree of certainty is that Extension Workshop will launch if I have to. If I have to carry it on my back and launch it myself. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so those are the highlights that look pretty solid going into next week. At the next community meeting, that'll be a week after the product planning meeting. So if there's more information that we can share, especially about like individual projects that are being worked on, I'll be able to provide an update on those. Q4 is also a really fun quarter because it involves a lot of holidays. So Q4 in the past for us has involved all hands travel. This year, our usual December all hands has been bumped to February to kind of give us a little bit more time in Q4 to get stuff done. But the joke has always been about Q4 that you have 4 weeks to execute whatever it is you want to do. So planning for Q4 is always a fun experience. Yeah, any questions or comments about that? Cool. Okay. The other thing is that has kind of come up recently that I'm not quite sure what to do involves a mystery about installing static themes on Android. So one of our theme powered developers, Madonna, she's had an instance now where a couple of her new static themes are not installable on Android. And on our end, we've checked AMO and we've checked the code on her themes, and we're not really 100% sure what's not working. We thought for a bit that maybe it was due to an emoji being in the name of the theme. It appears that that wasn't the case. So I'm casting a wider net now. There's a link to the discourse thread where there's a conversation happening about people having problems getting their static themes installed on Android. And I'm hoping that if you're passionate about solving problems and know a little bit about how themes work with Firefox, maybe a couple more eyeballs on that problem, we can kind of figure out, we can diagnose what the problem is, and then we can start working on getting it fixed. Unfortunately, we're not able to fix it until we understand what's happening, and we're still at that stage. So yeah, if you have any insights, please feel free to comment on the discourse thread or contact me directly. We're just going to keep working on it, and hopefully we'll figure out what's going on. Yeah. Okay, and then I see BJ has a question. Yeah, BJ, you want to ask it out loud?
So the links in the email go to review listed, and I've always had to change listed to content review to see it. And as of today, I can now see the review listed, but I can't reply from there. I still have to change it to review content in the URL to actually reply. So I wonder what changed. It's not Thursday.
No, we made a change yesterday so that reviewers had read-only access to all pages. So that's the reason that you see that. But yeah, the only difference is that you have access to the page. You can't take actions on the page if it's not the kind of review page that you belong to. Like you're in the content reviewer group, so you can only like take actions in the content review page, not in the listed review page.
Even though the reply does exactly the same thing.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. BJ, is it hard to switch over to the content review to be able to take action once you're on that site?
I just edit the URL as I've always been doing.
Okay. And that's okay.
And there's a bug to actually fix the email so it is useful for content reviewers, but nothing's happened on that in the past year.
Okay. Can you send me that issue number just so I can kind of keep it in mind? That actually sounds like something maybe an extension could do. Just like switch the URL. Maybe? I don't know. I'm just brainstorming solutions that don't involve going into AMO. Okay, cool. So how else is it going out there in the world?
I like the change last week that got rid of a whole bunch of the backlog.
Excellent. Speaking of backlog, Jorge, did you hear anything about removing search add-ons from Firefox?
No news.
No news. Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, at least they're out of the queue now. So yay. Sorry. So there's that. That's pretty great. Okay. Awesome. All right. Anything else that anyone wants to discuss? All right. Excellent. Well, thank you all for joining. Have a great rest of your week. Let us know if anything comes up, and we'll talk to y'all later. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.